One of the scariest things about buying a home is thinking about the maintenance. What if something goes wrong? How much is it going to cost? If you wanted to learn more about easing those worries, or maybe you're selling a home and you want to understand how to ease the worries of a buyer, today is your day for our podcast. We're going to be talking about home warranty. Our unreal stat of the day is that 25% of the homes sold in the United States actually come with a home warranty, which sort of blew my mind. I didn't realize that. It was a lot more than expected. However, only 4% of homeowners still have a home warranty. Today, I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Matan Slagter. He's the founder and CEO of Armadillo. It's a leading online home warranty company. Matan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.
My pleasure. So what is Armadillo, and how did you get into home warranty?
I
know, easy question, right?
When I was 6 years old, I knew I was going to be in the home warranty industry. No one ever said that. So Armadillo is a home warranty company. We're a new generation. We're a product that's designed for a new generation of homeowners. We provide financial protection for new home buyers. We cover the costs of breakdowns and replacements in HVAC, plumbing, electric systems, appliances. We have a lot of add-ons. If you have a pool and spa or whole home generator, you could really customize your plan. And we also make it really easy to request service. So every homeowner gets this nice magnet on their home. They can scan their QR code and request service digitally 24/7, or call this number and talk to an Armadillo Home Pro, ask questions, request service. So that's what we do. How I got into home warranty, I sort of fell into it. I actually started my career as an actuary in the insurance industry. Home warranty is not technically an insurance product, but fundamentally, we're covering the costs of future events. So from a mathematical perspective, it is insurance. So I was in the insurance industry, started as an actuary, and spent almost 15 years in the industry. My last 10 years at AIG. And one of my roles there was head of market disruption for all of their consumer-facing insurance products. So all the stuff that, auto insurance, homeowners insurance,
Sure.
Health, accident, travel insurance, and warranty. And during that stint, I used to travel around with AIG's warranty business and to talk to some of their largest clients like Best Buy and Apple. And I got very close with them. And I learned, even though they were doing extended warranty like Apple Care on your phone, I learned a lot about the industry. So that's where I first sort of learned that there's also this thing called home warranty, where you're not covering one product at a time, but you're covering a lot of stuff in the home. So that's when I learned about it. And then I got introduced to the guy who founded that warranty business that AIG acquired, Lanston Robbins, who's my partner and the chairman of the business. And we went into the business together to start Armadillo.
Oh, that's great. That's really cool. In fact, so I didn't know that about your background. So besides prop tech, real estate tech, that's one thing I think we almost have in common. I almost worked for AIG Investments coming out of business school.
Really?
Yeah.
Great group.
Yeah. Well, they had their ups and downs. They were one of these weird kind of unregulated portions of the market back in, that 2008 crisis, and so they had made all these really sort of what didn't seem like crazy bets, but ended up being very difficult bets on, I think, mortgage-backed securities or something. And because they're an insurance company, it's unregulated. Anyway, I'm no longer a banker, so I don't have to go into all that. But yeah, I was almost actually there with you for a little bit.
That's awesome.
Okay, so let's talk about this stat. The 25% of homes today are sold with a warranty, which to me, that was surprising to me, but I was like, oh, that's cool. But then only 4% of homes still have a home warranty. That's obviously a big gap. Could you please just talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, specifically in the real estate space, a few things are happening. One, the home warranty product itself, and that's why we've entered the industry. We're disruptors. We've built a much broader coverage. But the product itself sometimes has convoluted coverage language, and consumers don't get the sort of service they think they should get when they file a claim, and then they don't renew it. But the real reason, the main reason that the renewal rates are very low, and that's what's led to a 4% of, you have 25% of new homes have a home warranty, but only 4% of households have the product. there's a low renewal rate, because a lot of the times you inherit the product. Sometimes the seller of the home he'll buy it for the buyer of the home. It's negotiated into the contract. Sometimes it's gifted by the real estate agent, and sometimes it's bought by the buyer, which is probably the best case, because then you've made the decision, you've made the conscious decision to buy it. So when comes renewal time a year later, you're probably more likely to value it and renew it again. But a lot of the times the buyer inherits it, and if they don't use it, if there was not a claim in the first year, the job of the home warranty company is to convince you, hey, I know you didn't have claims in the first year, but
Right.
you might next year, so you should probably renew it. So it's sort of the dynamic of that channel, which is really interesting.
Great. No, that's a good explanation. So I find that in prop tech, when you talk about buyers and sellers at the same time, people almost always invariably get confused. So I want to take them one by one. I want to talk about, you brought up buyers. So let's talk about buyers first. A buyer, you said that's sort of the best case. So as a buyer, I'm buying my home. Maybe it's my first home, whatever it is, right? And I'm a little bit, I'm worried about maintenance, right? Like, what if my air conditioner goes out or something? It's thousands of dollars, I assume, right? So like, I'm thinking ahead. I'm getting this home warranty. Can you talk about sort of the typical benefits, costs, downside? You mentioned before sometimes the coverage isn't quite what somebody expects it to be when they have a claim. Can you talk about from the buyer's perspective?
Yeah, absolutely.
How home warranty works and what's kind of the best case scenario?
Yeah, home warranty is really a great product for anybody buying a home, and whether it's even for a new home, but an existing home, you don't know how old the systems are. Sometimes you could guess, and you get that information how old the HVAC system is. So really, as a buyer going into this unknown asset, you know a little bit from the home inspection, but even that's not a sure thing. It's a great investment to make. A lot of buyers are stretched. They bought their dream home, and just a way to offload the risk of, I would say, repairs, but most of the replacements. The HVAC goes out, now you have to replace the whole system, $12,000, or a big septic system issue, and before you know it, you're switching up the septic tank. Of course, you can inspect a lot of these things, but I'm in a home I moved into 2 years ago. We have dumped so much money into this house that actually the HVAC system on the top floor, we have two systems. The top floor is not working right now. You ask, why am I not filing a claim with Armadillo? It was an issue for a long time, and I started Armadillo after that happened. So it wouldn't be right for me to do that. But for a buyer, it's a great investment. You don't know where you're walking into. If you're stretched financially and you just can't afford to replace a big system that breaks down, home warranty is a great product, different than homeowners insurance, and we can talk about that too. But home warranty covers wear and tear. Home insurance covers catastrophic external perils, hurricane hits, fire, burglary, but it doesn't cover wear and tear. It's not going to cover the HVAC system when that blows out.
Okay, so I'm a buyer. I'm buying. Average home in the United States now is about $400,000. What would I expect the upfront costs? Is it actually, break it down for me? Is there an upfront cost and a monthly cost, or is it just a one-time fee? Like, how much would this cost me?
Yeah, so there are different plans. At Armadillo, I think the most affordable plan is $450, and then they go up all the way to $1,300 if you have a very expensive appliances and you want to cover them at the maximum level of coverage. Most of our plans that are sold are between $550. We have a $550 plan and a $750 plan. Those are two really good plans. It's upfront. Typically, it comes out of closing, so it's a check that's cut out of closing for that amount. There's no monthly cost. When you renew next year, you could actually move to a monthly statement instead of paying year by year. And there is a deductible or service fee, as most home warranties call it. There's a deductible per claim. So if there's a claim on your refrigerator, there's going to be a deductible. It's typically $100 with Armadillo. It can range from as low as $75 to as high as $200, depending on the plan that you get. You only pay that deductible once per claim. So if it's the same claim and a service provider needs to come to your house multiple times, that deductible is only paid once. We only charge it, by the way, on the day of service. We don't. A lot of home warranty companies just charge you up front, and you didn't even have the service done yet. But that's typically how it works. And there's a limit of liability. So you'll get, when you get your service contract or the document that describes your coverage, it will list all the items that are covered and the maximum amount of coverage per item.
Wait, so okay, I understand that. And you mentioned that there's sometimes people that are disappointed about something that the coverage in general. So where is that gap? What is typically the place where somebody ends up disappointed? Is it something? Is it an item that wasn't covered they thought that was, or is it perhaps the deductible? Like where are these? Where are people getting frustrated?
You know, we've poured hours upon hours into that before we launched the company. We actually scraped consumer reviews from some of our peers and cataloged them into different buckets. So
Scraped, easy. You looked, you researched, you reviewed.
By scraped, I mean Matan went on Twitter
Yes.
and just took, and then we looked at that and we analyzed why are people upset. So the first thing was the coverage itself. There's a lot when you look at the typical home warranty coverage. It's like 10 to 15 pages long. There are exclusions throughout the whole thing. You will go, we cover your HVAC, but we don't cover the ductwork behind a brick wall, and we don't cover the Freon. Well, we only cover that for up to $200, and you just for each item you see what's covered and what's not covered. So that was the first thing. People think something is covered, and then they have some out of pocket that they didn't expect, and they're like, "Well, I paid for this thing, and I thought it would cover the whole, the whole HVAC system, let's say." But now you're telling me that some items are not covered. That's one. The second thing is most home warranty companies they require the homeowner to use their own network of service technicians, and it might take them weeks before they get someone to your house, especially if it's the middle of the summer and all the HVAC technicians are busy. And there's no one available. You can't use your own, right? Those were the two. If you look at all those the hundreds of rows that we have now in an Excel that we used a long time ago, those were the two biggest things. So what we did was our service contract, that document is 2 pages long instead of 15 pages. And it's not because we wrote less coverage or it's shorter because there is less coverage. It's because we literally removed what we believed were nonsensical exclusions. We removed most of them. We have a single paragraph of exclusions. Any homeowner that buys our product can read this 2-page, double-sided document and understand exactly what's covered. So to us, transparency was really important for our brand. We're sort of the anti-home warranty in the home warranty space. The second thing we did is we let consumers, homeowners, use their own. Whenever they want to use their own service technician, they can totally do that. They'll get the same level of coverage, sort of like in-network and out-of-network, but they get the same level of coverage. And the only difference is that if they use our network of technicians who we've worked with, we can vouch for those, and we've done background checks and all of that. We'll pay the technicians directly, so the homeowner won't be out of pocket for any period of time. If the homeowner chooses to use their own, the only difference is that now they'll pay the technician, and then we'll reimburse them after the fact. But they have the option to do that. And a lot of people, what we're seeing is that actually 50% of our claims today, people choose to do that, either because their neighbor recommended a great plumber, or they've been using their guy forever or girl forever, or they just want to go on Google because they're used to going on Google and they want someone who has a 5-star rating on a website, and they can totally do that. We understand that.
Very cool. Okay, so I think I understand the basics on the buy side. I know a lot of the things are sort of mirrored, but perhaps you could talk a little bit about a seller. I'm a seller. It's an existing home sale, right? And maybe the number. I mean, you can. And I don't want to steal your thunder, but maybe the reason I want to add that warranty is to add comfort to the buyer. Hey, don't worry. I know you might be holding back, but I've already got you covered. Is it that simple, or what other things should sellers sort of be thinking about when they consider a home warranty?
To a certain extent, it is that simple. That is a big element of it. The seller buys it to provide that added comfort. Now, in the past 2 years, with the pandemic, it was a seller's market, so sellers didn't have to do anything extra. So that 25% was probably low. That the actual rate in the last 2 years may have been lower than 25%. It's going to climb back up now with the interest rates. It's going to be less of a seller's market, and you'll see sellers doing more to attract buyers. But that was a part of it. Another might be, the seller's not doing it, but then the buyer gets a home inspection and they find out that, this system is 17 years old and it's unsure about the septic tank. It looks like it's working. So then the realtor representing the buyer or the buyer themselves if they're a savvy buyer of real estate, they might say, well, you know what, seller, can you give me a credit, $500 credit to get a home warranty? Because I'm just not, I can't afford if something breaks down. Okay. And then they negotiate that into the contract. There is, I forget the clause number in Texas. There's a specific clause number that's like the home warranty clause. And it gets put into the contract. And so that's another way it might happen. But really, the big thing for a seller, it's you could put that seal on your house and say, you get coverage when you buy the home. You also get coverage on the big thing. So if they do break down, you'll have that added level of financial security.
I like that. That's straightforward. Yeah, it's funny that the way you describe your company is very similar to how we would think of it. I mean, you're saying you're almost the anti home warranty, right? And for us, we're not anti-realtor. I mean, we employ agents that help us to help our clients to transact. But all of the stuff that goes into being sort of a traditional real estate agent, we analyzed it. We reviewed a ton of Twitter, customer service, et cetera, and we kicked it out. Right, we just got rid of it. So it's really funny. We took a very similar approach when we built on real estate. We really wanted to get to the essence of what a transaction, like a really successful transaction was. So it's funny you guys did the same thing.
I love that. I love that. I think home warranty also has that wrap on top of everything. So it's like, for me, it's easier, but it's every industry. You can. That's why it's such a great opportunity for entrepreneurs. Is many industries have that opportunity to look at what's going on and how we can make it better. And I'm a big believer.
Yeah, especially the old sort of not so sexy industries, right? Like you joked that you didn't wake up one day like as a kid, I want to do a home warranty. No, these like really kind of big old industries that haven't really been touched by innovation at all. And I find those to be some of the best opportunities.
100%. So one of the things that my partner and I, when we looked at this space, was very attractive to us. There's no activity. There are no startups. There was one startup. When we looked at the space, there was only one startup in the home warranty space. If we went into homeowners insurance or auto insurance, InsurTech is blowing up. We'd have to get in there and push our way through. So that just made this specific vertical a very, very attractive vertical. Now you're seeing more startups are entering, but they're a little bit behind, which is nice, and it's large enough where I think we can all benefit from.
Similar for us. It's funny you say that. So I think when I first started this company, in fact, a lot of the advice I would get would be like, ugh, like there was nothing called prop tech yet. It was just like I was trying to do this thing in real estate with technology. And I kept getting this question from people that knew me from my previous company, like, why are you doing that? Like, you did a fintech company before. Fintech is hot. Do another fintech company, right? Or just like real estate is like, it's like kind of like this old kind of plodding sector. And then all of a sudden, prop tech became a coined term and got really hot. But still, most people, I think, shied away from doing innovation that, really kind of reduced commissions or took the agent out of the transaction at all because it's a very large lobby. People are afraid of it. And even, companies like Compass kind of started off that way, but then pivoted into being like very, very hardcore pro realtor. And we've seen a lot of that. But yeah, it's not, I find it a space that's not, people think of it as crowded, but if you think about the essence, it's not really that crowded in my opinion.
I love prop tech. So depending on what investor we talk to, we're either a prop tech company or an InsurTech company.
Sure.
Or depending on valuations are better. Today we're an InsurTech company.
So, you don't want to be. I'm kind of stuck with these in the market today. Oof. But I hear you. Okay, so I just want to recap. It's interesting. It sounds like yes, people are signing up. They're buying home warranties. But after they get past that first year, nothing goes wrong. They say, that's maybe an expense I'll cut. And then, of course, who knows what happens when the air conditioner breaks or whatever. But that's what it sounds like. So that's interesting on the unreal stat of the day. Buyers, it sounds like, get real benefit from getting that coverage. And the prices are fairly, one-time cost, $400 to maybe $1,300. One thing I want to cover at the end of this is what makes Armadillo great? Why is it different?
We sort of touched on that with some of the features. We are So the first thing is the coverage. We are the only, and I can say that with a lot of certainty right now. We're still, now we've been in and around for a little while, the only home warranty product that provides the breadth of coverage with that single paragraph of exclusions. So if a homeowner is looking for something that really, really will deliver, that's one. There's no one else, and they'll slowly migrate there, I think, over time. But we're the only ones doing that too. We're a tech company first and foremost. This thing that I showed before, the magnet. I'm not sure if I showed it before. I think I did.
Yep.
Scanning the QR code to request service 24/7 or calling us. We get it. We're a tech company, but we also have people who I personally, by the way, talk with, train. These are individuals who have a 360-degree view of every single consumer. So there's not a lot of different call centers. We're just a group that has all the information we need on our customer, and we deliver that sort of level of service that you'd expect from a modern 21st century company. So that the service delivery, making it very easy, and the breadth of the coverage, which is what you would expect to get in this day and age, you put those together, and I think that any agent or homeowner looking for a great coverage, that's sort of the where we play in that home warranty industry.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we're wrapping up. One more thing we have to do. We always do a shoe check. I go first.
Shoe check.
We do.
It's
it's a fit check or a shoe check. So some people choose, but we're gonna go sneakers today. I'll go first.
Okay. All
right. Today, I went with the Common Projects.
Love the Common Project.
You a fan?
A big fan. Not only that, we were inspired by them. What I'm about to show you, I really hope Nike doesn't sue me for this, but we had an offsite a week and a half ago. And we all came together, and I bought these Nikes right here.
Oh, those are fly. Oh, it's got okay.
Okay, so Common Projects, totally inspired. They made it a little bit too big. Our logo here, armadillo right here, with a little bit of orange around.
I love it.
So I'm not wearing them on my feet right now. I have socks on my feet. And then I have this little armadillo doll that I took back from my daughter just for this podcast. But this is it.
I love it, man. Really cool. That's maybe one of the best sneaker checks we've had. I love the custom armadillo. I haven't thought about doing that. We've done some swag for the team, but we haven't done the custom sneakers. I like that.
So let me tell you a story. I was in Vegas. Came back yesterday, and it was a big InsurTech conference, and I was there talking to the CEO of one of the biggest InsurTech companies in the world right now. And he looks at my shoes. I was wearing the shoes there. He's like, "What is that?" So I show him, and he's like, in real time, this is the CEO. This is I think they have now 1,800 employees, so pretty large company. He brings his chief marketing officer. He's like, "You do that for us right now." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just put that pressure on you." But these shoes were winners. We're so proud of them.
That's cool. So that's when it's one of those moments you're like, "Yeah, I did that right for my team," right? Because that's cool when they copy you. All right, man. Thank you so much for joining the pod today. Now I feel like I actually understand home warranty. I didn't know anything about it before. I hope our listeners get it too.
You asked great questions. Those were great questions. I feel like I know home warranty better now after this podcast.
All right. Well, when you do your podcast, hopefully we swap. You bring me on, and you can ask me the same types of questions about Unreal.
For sure. We need to get there. We start recording podcasts.
All right, man. Thank you for being on. We'll chat soon.